Jihadi Jack's parents seek political help to bring him to Canada. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. The British parents of a British-born child have decided that they want to use Canadian political help to try and get their son, now in his 20s, out of a Syrian prison that he ended up in because he joined ISIS. I'm talking about Jihadi Jack. Jack Letts, a man who at the age of 18 left Britain, the place where he was born, raised, and educated, the place he ultimately rejected, to go to Syria. He joined the Islamic State while he was there. He fought for them and even told the BBC that he was willing to be a suicide bomber. Now, his parents have decided that now is the time to push once again to get him out of the Syrian prison that he's been in since 2017 for fighting with the Islamic State. In order to do that, they're seeking Canadian political help. They've written to a number of members of parliament and senators saying, please, will you meet with us while John Letts is in Canada in early December so that we can discuss this. Let me quote from the letter written by Nikita Bernardi, a public relations consultant retained by the family to help with this matter. She writes that Jack has been held without charge and therefore arbitrarily and illegally since 2017 by the Kurdish forces in an overcrowded and unsanitary prison conditions. Well, unsanitary prison conditions. I think he should have thought about that before he went to go join the Islamic State. But why is this Canada's fault at all? Jack Letts was born and raised in the United Kingdom, in Oxford to be specific. So what's his connection to Canada? It's pretty tenuous at best. This is a man whose father, John Letts Sr., was born in Canada but moved to the United Kingdom decades ago. Through his father's line, he's able to claim Canadian citizenship, but he's never lived here, young Jack. No, he lived in the United Kingdom, visited here a couple of times to see family, according to some media reports, but he's never lived here. But this is becoming Canada's fault because in 2019, the British government revoked his citizenship. So now he is only Canadian, according to some, and therefore this is Canada's problem. Let me read further from the letter from Ms. Bernardi. She writes, as a Canadian citizen, Jack is entitled to all assistance and protection as is necessary by the Canadian government. Unfortunately, the Canadian government continues to take no action towards repatriating Jack on the now disproven basis that there is no consular presence in the region. End quote. She goes on to describe how others have been repatriated. But is repatriation really a term when we're talking about bringing someone to live in Canada who's never lived here? Look, I understand why John and Sally Letts are doing this, but Jack Letts is a British problem. He grew up there. He rejected British society after his conversion to Islam during his teen years. It was his rejection of British society that drove him to go join the Islamic State. Nothing to do with Canada whatsoever. We have no obligation to take this man into our custody. So far, the Trudeau government has said it's too dangerous. We don't have consular officials there. As Ms. Bernardi points out, the Trudeau government may be running out of excuses. If that becomes the case, do we go back to Trudeau's a Canadian as a Canadian as a Canadian? Do we take this Canadian of convenience just because his father was born and raised here, even though he's never lived here? I'd say no. This man is Britain's problem, and if Britain won't take him, he can stay in a Kurdish jail where he is now.